Hey everyone, so when I made a video about this ragdoll here, some people showed some interest in the rope and swinging physics, so I wanted to make a quick video on how I did that. Just going to be a really basic one. We're going to start out and just have this box here, and this is what you'll have at the end of the tutorial. So hopefully it'll keep it quick and still give you all the components necessary to get to whatever point you need in your app. Okay, so let's start out by creating a new project, and we will do a 2D. Okay, first thing first, I'm just going to import this ping. It's just a white box, and we'll use that for our player and our top collider. So okay, so for the top one, you're going to want to add a box collider 2D, and for the player, you're going to want to add a rigid body 2D. Okay, so the majority of this is going to be working on the script here. So let's create a new script. Call it rope controller. And let's actually do this in an empty object. Okay, let's open that up. Cool. Okay, so let's start out and initialize a few variables that we're going to be using. We're going to have a public game object rope shooter. That'll be where the rope is coming out of. We're going to have a private spring joint 2D. That will be the physics representation of the rope. A public int max rope frame count, and that's going to be like deciding the life cycle of the rope. A private rope frame count, which will be the current life cycle. And then finally, since by default the physics objects aren't displayed, we're going to have a renderer to draw the line. We're not going to have anything in our start. Our update is just going to be pretty simple. If input get mouse button down, 0. So that's going to say the first time we see a left click, we're going to call our fire method. And then, so let's create that. So the fire method's going to do two things. It's going to instantiate a raycast and see if we hit anything where we clicked. The second part is going to, if we do hit anything, it's going to like initialize a new spring for us. So to start out with that raycast, we're going to have a vector 3 mouse position, and we're going to convert the screen to world point for the camera so that it doesn't give us any funky positions. We're going to have the origin position of our rope shooter. And we're going to have the direction is that mouse position minus the origin position. Now we can do raycast 2D, or raycast hit 2D, store reference to it is hit physics 2D raycast, and that's going to be the origin position and the direction, as well as the distance math.infinity. So I think you can leave that off if you want, and it should default to that. Okay, so at this point we have our mouse click. If we get a mouse click, we're going to fire this, and we're going to check and see if the direction from the rope shooter to the mouse hits anything. So the way we can check if that hit anything is just seeing if the collider is not null, since we are looking for the raycast to hit a collider. So if that's the case, if it did hit something, we're going to say spring joint 2D new rope equals rope shooter dot add component spring joint 2D. And we're storing a reference to that so that we can change some of the variables on it, or change some of the fields on it. We're going to say, first, we do want it to be able to collide with things, or sorry, we don't want it to be able to collide with things, so we're going to say false. So that's going to be allowing it to go around other objects. We're going to set the frequency at which the spring oscillates around the distance between the objects. So that that's something that you're going to want to tweak to your liking, and that'll make it either more rope-like or more spring-like, depending on how heavy you go in that. The connected anchor is where we hit, like where the raycast hit, and then we're just going to enable it. And that should be enough to make our object bounce. So let's give it a quick run here. There's a couple more things we got to do over here. So now that we have this rope controller with the public fields, we've got to add in a couple things. So our player is going to be where the game object is coming out of. We'll just give this the default value of 50, which we haven't done anything with that yet, actually. And then we also need to create a line renderer and a material. So if we come back here, we can say the material we're going to use is just this basic line material. You can change that to your liking. And then we're going to say on the script, the line renderer that we're going to use is just this one that we made here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it hit it, and it's bouncing, but we can't see the line yet. So let's come back in here, and we'll say, since we have a new rope, we're going to say game object destroy immediate the current rope. Then we're going to say rope equals new rope. So now we have a reference within the file to that rope. And then we're going to reset the rope frame count, which again we haven't set up yet. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go back up here and let's start with the line renderer. So I like to do this in late update. You won't see too much effect in the demo with this, but if your rope shooter is moving around, then you're going to want this to be in late update so that it doesn't look weird. It's in like it renders in the right spot. So if rope does not equal null, so if there's currently a rope out there, line renderer dot enabled equals true. Set it to enabled. We're going to set vertex count to 2, and what that's going to do is just say that it's just a straight line. We're going to say line renderer dot set position 0, so the origin is going to be the rope shooter's position. And then it's going to go to the end anchor of the rope. Okay, and if the rope is null, we're just going to turn off our line renderer. Okay, so let's see what we got with that then. Boom, we have our line renderer. So right now, the object is not ever decaying, it's not ever ending. So let's start working with that rope frame count and get it to die off. So we're going to put this in fixed update just so that it's consistent. We're going to say if it's not null, we're just going to increment the frame count, and then if that is greater than the max rope frame count, we're going to destroy our rope. And reset the rope frame count. Cool. So at this point, you should have everything you need to have your working swinging physics. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll try and get back to you. Or if you have any requests for any other videos or anything. So have a good one.